Alright, next we're going to learn how to transform the data. We often call this feature engineering, and there's a few different ways that we do this. Actually, quite a few ways. Let's start with a very simple one here using the edit metadata pill. So back here in our experiment, we've got our lending club data. Summarize. Let's go ahead and search for the edit metadata pill. So the reason why I'm starting with this one is because it's a very simple cast from one type to another. Let's say, for example, we pulled this data in, and let me show you an example here in the data. Let's say that some of our numeric columns, loan status numeric, loan amount, funded amount, let's say that this came from the database and Azure thought it was a string instead of a number, or something like that. That would reflect if we were to look at the summarized data pill and find out that some of those numeric features, like loan status numeric, if it thought it was a string, it would give us a count, unique value, and missing value count, but it would have no min or max because it wouldn't know that these are numbers. It would think that it's string, and it would leave blanks there. That can happen depending on where you pull the data from. It could be simply that that database was storing that object as a string or whatever, and we just want to convert it to a number so that it can be used as a numeric feature. Well, in that case, I'd come in here and simply find the numeric feature, let's say total payment, that was being treated as a string, and I would come over here and say data type, let's change it to an integer, or if it had a decimal, floating point, or if it was a bunch of zeros and ones, Boolean, or whatever you want here. However, I think maybe a more common one might be when we have a feature that represents something categorical, but it has a number that's associated with it. Let's see if we have any examples of that. So let's see here. Loan status numeric is a good example. However, I want to see if there's not in this one. Okay, not in this data set. Well, let's use this as a hypothetical right here. Loan status numeric. Let's say we didn't have this loan status option. All we had were a bunch of numbers here. -3 up to 3, 7 values, 7 numbers for 7 values. Well, let's say that we didn't want to treat loan status numeric as a number. We wanted to treat it as independent categorical groups that didn't have an order. So see, you can't rank order the text over here. Well, you could do it alphabetically, but there would be no meaning to that because charged off would then come before fully paid, and charged off is not a better outcome than fully paid. It'd be better to treat it as a categorical independent groups. So let's assume for a moment we didn't have this loan status column and all we had was this loan status numeric. Well, we can convert these numbers to independent categorical groups by saying edit metadata, come here, grab loan status numeric, check, and then let's change, we can either change the data type to string, or I could come here and say make categorical, or as you can see, this is kind of a more global, this is a more localized, more specific data types, or more global one where I can simply say categorical or not categorical. And then over here with this fields, there will be times when I might want to mark something as a feature or a label or a weight. I'm not going to get into this in too much depth right now. It's not needed for this particular course, but you can explore the documentation on this pill if you want to. But this is a great way. Really, I like this pill for converting categorical to numbers or numbers to categorical. So when we run that, run selected pill here. All right, all done. Let's see what actually happened here after doing that. So right-click, result dataset, visualize, and it still looks the same as it did before. So how can we tell anything is different? Well, let's do this. I'm going to pull summarize data down here off of edit metadata and run this one. And you'll simply see that it gets treated now as a category instead of a number, and that's about it. Now, again, the context where I'd use this is if I have a number representing a category that I don't want to be treated as a number, or if I have a category that's actually a number, or I have a bunch of numbers that I pulled from an import data and it's being treated as a categorical value because of how it was being stored in the database, but when truthfully I want it to be a numeric value. That's probably the most common context you'll run into. All right, let's take a look. Right-click, result dataset, visualize, and there we go. Loan status numeric. Notice that now it's not getting the min-max whatever all these are, mean deviation, quantiles, all etc., because it thinks it's a categorical feature, and we don't calculate that stuff for categorical feature. All right, so that's very basic. That's all I want to cover on edit metadata for now.